All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome to the Black Factor, where perspective is everything, and we got the news that you can use, not that other stuff. Man, I'm sure that you all know by now that it has been one hell of a day. There are an awful lot of things going on in the world, and actually skip the world. It's a lot of stuff going on right here in America, and we got to talk about it. Siri Fields, I see you. Thank you for checking in, my dear, all the way from the new blue state of Georgia. I like that. The new blue state of Georgia. I like that. However, we are in a bit of a quandary, a predicament, and a pandemic. Predicament. So, look here, y'all. I got a lot to cover, as usual. It's like doing this show for 3 days a week rather than, like every day. It's like a day goes by and I'm chomping at the bit, and I got all of this stuff that I want to get out and stuff that I want to talk about because it's so important. And in particular, today's show is going to be very important because what we're going to talk about today is something that came up as a topic on Facebook recently, and the response to it I found very profound, which I'm going to give you, that came from actually one of the Black Factor family members. And the response I thought was epic, and it spoke to exactly what was going on, and it said what needed to be said in that regard. So with all of that said, we're going to go ahead and get this party started, y'all. Hang tight. Let's go. All right. Let's do it. Okay, so, man, y'all, before I get started, I must start out by sending prayers out to some very good friends of mine. I have had the last couple of days have not been good in regard to illnesses and friends of mine, and I'm dealing with it. Trying to keep myself busy doing what I'm doing, but there's a lot happening, and I got people here in Texas. I got people in Tennessee that are very, very ill, and I am very, very not dealing with it well. So with that, I want to make sure I send those prayers up. Y'all send prayers up for my people. Shouts out. One of these gentlemen is somebody who was very instrumental in helping me to become the man that I am. And, they say steel sharpens steel. Men sharpen men. And that was one of my sharpeners, my elder. All right. And the only reason I'm not saying any names is because it's a privacy thing, and I don't want to get into that. Anyway, moving forward, one of our congresswomen, Bonnie Watson Coleman, has tested positive for COVID. And why, you may ask? Why is that unusual? Well, she's on a self-quarantine right now because while this insurrection was taking place, she was forced to shelter with her colleagues, shelter in place. And of course, we had a bunch of those people who refused to wear masks because they continuously believed in the lies and the propaganda put about by our so-called leader, the liar and thief of the United States, who still remains to be the most powerful man in the world, who is also currently extremely silent, regardless of all of the turmoil that's taking place in the world right now, which we are about to get into quite heavily. We're getting ready to talk about that. So, I find it interesting that we're dealing with a group of people who are acting like Billy badasses right now, and they want to run out here and raise 9 kinds of hell. Yet, before the counting of the electoral votes, we heard a whole bunch of, we're going to Washington, we're going to stop the steal, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Well, they got there, got egged on by Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump Jr., another sitting senator, who, by the way, right now is about to be censured. What I don't understand is how Rudy Giuliani is still practicing law. He should be disbarred. What he is doing is criminal and in bad taste, needless to say. But, of course, we never expected anything tasteful to come out of this particular regime as it stands. So, with that, what I find even more interesting, now that they've begun these police manhunts, and many of them have gone to jail, are going to jail on federal charges, what I'm going to find really interesting is like a lot of these same people, when you catch these federal charges, all of you people who want to continue to tote your guns and have your open carry and display your weapons, you lose that right. Just know that. So that's about to hit many of them. But I find it interesting that now that these manhunts are taking place, and some of them, a lot of them, are now being placed on no-fly lists as terrorists. I had watched a video of a guy the other day jumping up and down and ripping and screaming and hollering about how his life had been ruined. Well, guess what, buddy? You did that to yourself. Nobody told you to go and make a run on the nation's capital. That's on you. I don't have any sympathy and very little empathy for anything. In fact, I have no empathy. It is what it is. We've watched black people get characterized in this country for not even committing crimes, for just being black for centuries. And here we are watching those who believe that they have the privilege to do as they please get called on their BS, and look how far they actually had to go to get called on it, and now they're upset. Well, I'm sorry. I just don't have any empathy for that. But what's even more funny is that these same people who hooped and hollered and jumped up and down and hollered about, I'm going to Washington and we're going to stop the steal. And as soon as everything jumped off, the next thing they said was, Antifa did it. Really? Really? So now you're going to hide behind the skirt of your enemy after you did the dirt. Isn't that amazing? But these are supposed to be brave men. Well, okay. But here's the other thing. If Antifa actually did do what they say Antifa did, why aren't you happy that they're being arrested? You should be applauding the government and everybody for picking up your enemy, for picking them up and arresting them for making an attack on your government. But you're not. You're very angry. And now you want to turn around and run back to Washington and, in fact, all over the country to protest even more. Imagine that. So y'all are coming back to Washington. Well, the difference this time from the last time is that they'll be better prepared. And the master of division, and here's something, y'all. Y'all help me with this. I know most of people who are attendees of this show and of the things that we do, my Black Factor family. I know we didn't vote for him. But what I find amazing, here's a guy who had a television show that the ratings were based around his ability to divide people, to pit people against one another. And then we allowed this guy who did that thing with people, we allowed him to run our country. We allowed a master of division for ratings to run our country. Imagine that. He's now done it on a global scale. And in fact, divided us from even our allies around the world. There are people in other countries watching what's going on in this country right now, and they are probably more afraid than we are, which is actually kind of scary because I think that we take a whole lot for granted. Now, we're going to get into that too. We're going to definitely get into that. That's actually what this show is about the fact that I think some of us believe that this don't have nothing to do with us. Wow. And the sad part is that the people who had the ability, the knowledge, and the know-how to stop all of this did absolutely nothing. Stood back and egged this guy on, cheered him on as he destroyed the fabric of democracy. That is amazing to me. Now, funniest thing. So today, Melania Trump decides she's going to weigh in on all of this, right? Why? I have no idea. Y'all listen to this. This is, and I quote, Melania Trump. I am disappointed and disheartened with what happened last week. I find it shameful that surrounding these tragic events, there has been salacious gossip, unwarranted personal attacks, and false misleading accusations on me. Please explain to me, I'm unquoting right here. Explain to me why anybody gives a about gossiping about her. Anyway, anyway, I'm sorry. From people who are looking to be relevant and have an agenda. This time is solely about healing our country and its citizens. It should not be used for personal gain. Somebody please explain to me why mentioning her name or anything like that would make anybody relevant when she's not relevant her damn self. Nobody cares about you, Melania. You're an idiot. You're married to an idiot. And you all, I ain't gonna go there. That boy didn't do nothing to nobody. Okay, anyway. Poor kid, he ain't got a chance. So then she goes on and blah, 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 blah. The rest, most of this is blah, blah, blah. But then she goes, I implore people to stop the violence. Never make assumptions based on color of a person's skin or using differing political ideologies as a basis for aggression and viciousness. We must listen to one another, focus on what unites us, and rise above what divides us. Melania, you should have written that letter to your husband. He is the reason for the season. He created all of this. Damn near. Now, I can't say single-handedly. He definitely had help. What twilight zone are these people living in? I just got to know. What type of psychosis is going on in the White House? Well, we've been asking that for 4 years, so that goes without saying. Y'all, I don't know. Anyway, so today, the FBI received a bulletin, or they put out a bulletin that clearly states that there are going to be armed protests in all 50 states from roughly the 15th all the way to the 20th at every state capital. So Trump supporters apparently have decided that they're going to pick up arms and go to every state capital in the entire United States. Now, people may laugh and joke, but let me be very, very clear about something. The United States government, in my best estimation, does not have the ability to fight off that in 50 states. I need y'all to understand what I'm saying right now, because this is very important. A lot of us think that this doesn't matter. Donald Trump has not opened his mouth or said one word about stopping any of this. He wants this. He eggs this on. He is looking forward to the carnage. Does he care who gets killed? Nope. And I promise you, y'all know like I say all the time, I hope I'm wrong. You know, I have my moments where I refer back to other shows and other things that have been said on this show. I do it quite often because I find that it is so crazy. It's not even crazy. I don't even have a word for it, but it just shows you how history is so attached to where we are right now. And I really don't think people clearly understand how connected to history we actually are. Because none of what we're watching is actually new. This is all old stuff. This is the chickens coming home to roost. This is a culmination of years of the same ideologies that this country was founded on. None of this is new. See? But these people are going to have armed insurrection nationally, supposedly, over the next few days from the 5th, 15th, all the way through the 20th. But what's even more interesting, Blue Lives Matter, right? Remember that? Blue Lives Matter. But they beat the hell out of police. They went to the Capitol. One officer's dead. He was beaten with a fire extinguisher. Even though we've now found out, after a little further investigation, some of these officers were actually involved. But we said that on the Black Factor, right here. We said that. We talked about the officers taking selfies, and we talked about the officers opening the gates. And now it turns out that there was an officer who actually led people through the corridors of the Capitol and showed them what certain things were. One of the representatives, Clyburn, whose office is not even marked, they found his office and ransacked it because they were led there. I guess blue lives do matter, huh? Isn't that interesting? But I know that there's going to be even more investigations and more truths are going to come out. There will be more collaborators and cohorts that will be coming out. And as that happens, we expect to see more and more people being arrested. So today, 2 Capitol police officers were suspended, and one has apparently been arrested for their involvement. This is starting to explain why this thing was so easy and why it went off the way it did. They were basically led in there. So apparently there's another, I believe, 10 to 12 officers under investigation currently involved in this entire matter, because they still haven't cleared up what happened in regard to why there wasn't a stronger force when they knew these people were coming. They knew. They can't say they didn't know. They knew. Excuse me. There's lots of proof out there that shows that they knew that these people were coming, which is why the chief of the Capitol Police resigned damn near immediately. Both sergeant at arms of the House and the Senate have resigned. And now we have police officers under arrest and suspended because of this. Y'all, I'm leading up to this now. Y'all need to be paying attention. You see where this is going. See, this is a lot bigger than we're giving it credit for. It's starting to get a little bit scary. Now, we can make jokes and talk about them being toothless, knuckle-dragging Neanderthals and talk about how dumb they are. But that stupidity in the hands of a person who knows how to use weapons and, create chaos and havoc, that's a dangerous thing. You need to understand where we are right now, y'all. This is how things end up happening, because we sit back, we watch from afar, we make jokes, and we think that it can't happen. We're getting there. So, and apparently one of those officers was actually caught wearing a MAGA hat too, by the way. But if all of this wasn't bad enough, Chad Wolf, y'all know who he is? That was the acting chief of Homeland Security. He resigned today. He quit. He cut tail and run. Why? There's a couple of reasons. One, he knows the responsibility that's on his head right now. He is a Trump supporter. That's why he ended up in that position in the first place, which he wasn't qualified for. And there was under question many, many months ago about him being there. But he also, and this is the most important part, will refuse to be a part of helping Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment, which, of course, that means, Trump got to go. But now these insurgents have also put out a threat that said if Donald Trump is removed from office before January 20th, there will be a retaliatory strike in America. Imagine that. They're saying that they're going to attack or begin to attack political figures and government officials. Now, do y'all remember, since we're talking about these crooked cops, y'all remember that one black officer that we showed the video of who was running up the stairs? Daggone it. I had that thing up here and I lost it. Let me see if I can. Oh, no, I didn't. And I was talking about how he should not have had to run away the way he did. Well, apparently there's a new take on this particular video. So now let me give it to you like this. Now, I talked about this guy having to run up these stairs away from this crowd. But I want you to pay attention. Watch what he does. He backs up a little bit, gets on the radio, see how he pushes that guy and then steps back, grabs his baton, steps back a little further, runs up the stairs, stops. Clearly he's not afraid. Stops, uses the radio a little more, telegraphs where he's going to his fellow officers, keeps going. Now pay attention right here. Stops. He's looking down that hallway. Now, what a lot of people don't know, which I didn't know at first, that hallway is where it leads to the chamber where our lawmakers were in session. He actually was smart enough to direct the wild-ass crowd who wanted blood away from that hallway. Now watch his next actions. Stop right there, blocks that door so that he can direct this idiot to go past him. So then he's going to watch him. He's going to push him again to get him to follow him. He wants the crowd to follow him because they think they're going to draw blood. Push him. Watch now. See? Come on. Now that guy looked down the hall, but they're so busy focusing on the officer, they're not paying attention to anything else. So they naturally, because they're all a bunch of idiots, what do? They follow, because that's what they are. They're followers, a bunch of losers. They don't know anything else. Now here come the reinforcements. Boom. Don't make no moves or I'm shooting everybody. That's what's next. So now, I said all of that to say, ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman, Officer Eugene Goodman of the Capitol Police, he deserves to be commended for his quick thinking. He is a hero. He is a very smart man, and he used what he had to get them to do what they needed to do to protect lives. He'll probably never get the amount of recognition that he deserves for that action. Now, I want to talk about the toxicity of this buffoon that is sitting in the White House quiet while over 3,000 people per day die from coronavirus. Now, just think about this. They're talking about impeachment. They're talking about censorship. They're talking about the 25th Amendment. They're talking about a bunch of stuff. But let's remember that coronavirus wouldn't be where it is today without the help of Donald J. Trump. Because he didn't want to, I don't know what he wanted. He's an idiot. Anyway, the thing is this. He's toxic, and everybody around him is toxic, and their toxicity is spreading. But here's what I'm loving right now. Let's take Josh Hawley, for example. This was the clown, the senator, no, the congressman, Josh Hawley from Missouri. Oh, he thought he was going to go in there and make a big old stand for Donald Trump, got his fist in the air on the picture and all of that. Well, Simon & Schuster, the publishing company who his book was about to come out from, dropped his ass. Nope, you won't be putting no books out under us, buddy. So that's gone. He lost that deal, and rightfully so. He should lose his seat in office. I'm looking forward to that. Siri Fields, thank you for 4,000 per day now, and you are correct. The average, and I only said 3,000 because the average is around 3,200 as of today. But yes, we have reached over 4,000 in some cases. And in fact, if y'all remember, here I go referencing previous shows. If y'all remember on previous shows, I said multiple times that soon we would be over 3,000 a day, which is more than died in 9/11. But we memorialize that every single year as the amount of deaths having been so excessive, yet we act like this is not happening while 3,000 people every single day perish from something that was avoidable had we had proper leadership in this country. So now y'all's man is upset because all of the social media platforms have banned him, and rightfully so. But here's the funny part. For some reason, there are people jumping up and down and saying that he is being censored and his First Amendment rights are being violated. Well, here's what you need to understand about First Amendment rights. And it just goes to show you, once again, the uneducated that he loves so much support him. Because if you know anything about the First Amendment, you'll understand that owning a private company, I don't have to allow you anything. I don't have to allow you a platform to speak your mind when I'm paying the bills. You have a choice. You can go somewhere else. I don't want you here. So guess what? Kicked out. Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. I've even heard somebody made a joke today and said he was on MySpace going off because that's all that's left for him, I think. 8 million followers he had on Twitter. Down the toilet. Now, the platform Parler, which I actually was a member of because I like to listen to these idiots and see where their heads are, has been removed from Amazon and Google. But guess what? Once again, these are private platforms. You don't get to tell these people what to do with their platforms. They're claiming censorship again, and now they want to sue. The owners of Parler want to sue Amazon and Google. All I'm going to say is, because they claim it's a competition, that they are monopolizing an industry and have enough money and power to put them out of business. How do you use somebody else's platform and then claim that you have the right to it? If you don't like what Google and Amazon are doing, I'm going to tell y'all the same thing like you was telling us so-called snowflakes 4 years ago when Donald Trump won and the Democrats lost. Leave. Go get your own. Build your own platform that'll host Parler or any other hate speech sites that you're interested in. And I'm sure they're working on that right now. I'm sure they are. Because they need some place to vent all of that ignorance. They're too stupid to pull it off. So I'm not worried about it happening. Because most of them don't have a brain. And in fact, I think about 4 or 5 of them together, they might be able to figure out how stupid this is. Well, the company Stripe, who is a financial transaction institution, has also banned Trump. And in fact, they will not process any more transactions for the Trump campaign for campaign contributions, which is all right by me. Good. Bye. Good riddance. Because nobody needs to keep fueling this nonsense financially. Now, here's the part that I'm really enjoying. I shouldn't be enjoying this, but I am. What are we going to do? All right. Melanie DeBro says, the scary part of all of this is the U.S. will be at war with each other and other countries can get to us. Yep. And we're going to get to that too. I'm coming. I'm getting there. Hang tight. Just hold on. Roll with me. Now, here's the thing. The PGA, Pro Golfers Association, has decided that they are no longer going to be hosting the golf championships at Trump resorts and at Trump golf courses. He just took a big old hit to the pocket on that one. And in fact, they say he's very pissed off about it, but he has no social media platform to vent on anymore. So he's just mad and he gets to keep it to himself. So I'm cool with that. Val Wells says the black vote is paying off. Val, absolutely. And that is one of the things that I'm going to comment about tonight, because for the people who said that our vote doesn't count, it doesn't mean anything. If our vote didn't count, none of this would be happening right now. It's our vote that made this happen. There's some very upset people right now, which you're about to find out. Well, it also turns out that several major banks have also pulled away from the Republican Party. So now a lot of Republicans are starting to finally jump ship. What I find most disturbing is that what it took for this to happen. So Morgan Stanley is suspending all PAC contributions to members of Congress who did not vote to certify the results of the Electoral College. Marriott said it would pause donations from its PAC to those who voted against certification of the election. Dow, the chemical giant, is suspending all PAC contributions to any member of Congress who voted to object to the certification of the presidential election. They said the suspension will last for one election cycle, 2 years for representatives and up to 6 years for senators. Woo-wee. Shopify terminated online stores affiliated with Donald Trump, with President Trump, based on recent events. They have determined that by the actions of the President Donald J. Trump violate their acceptable use policy. It prohibits the promotion and support of organizations, platforms, or people that threaten or condone violence to further a cause. Hallmark, the card company, they request a return of campaign contributions. Of the contributions its PAC made to Senators Josh Hawley of Missouri and Roger Marshall of Kansas, both of whom voted against certifying the presidential election results. Whew. Airbnb condemned the violence in Washington, saying in a statement that it will update its framework and withhold support from those who voted against the certification of presidential election results. Coca-Cola said in a statement that it would also suspend political giving. These events will be long remembered and will factor into our future contribution decisions. Blue Cross Blue Shield, Boston Scientific, and Commerce Bank are telling a similar targeted approach to donation freezes. Ladies and gentlemen, they're getting hit across the head. Jake Seward told the Deal Book that they're freezing donations from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citigroup, and others. The list goes on, and it's growing daily. But the problem, and also, don't let me forget, do do not let me forget that there are several universities who are also rescinding their honorary degrees from Donald Trump, and are considering rescinding their honorary degree to Rudy Giuliani. Yep, the plot thickens. But here's the thing, and I don't know if y'all remember this, but just remember this. There was a case in the court back in 2018. It was called the Masterpiece Cake Shop versus Colorado Civil Rights Commission. Now, many of you may not remember that, but let me tell you what it was. This was the case of the gay couple in Colorado who went to a bakery to have a cake baked for their wedding. The bakery refused to make the cake on the grounds that the couple was gay. And they used their religious beliefs as the reason why. Well, that case went all the way to the Supreme Court. And guess who won? And this all happened during Trump's administration. Well, the cake company won. They basically have the right not to serve those people and to do as they please. They are a private company, and they are not violating anybody's rights by not making the cake for the gay couple. Imagine that. So now all of a sudden, here we are, where Donald Trump has done so much damage and caused so many problems that private companies, just like Masterpiece Cake Shop, have decided that they don't want to do business with someone who incites violence, doesn't denounce it, and creates these sorts of social problems. Can't have it both ways. The conservatives were very much on the side of the cake shop, Donald Trump's people. Well, guess what? It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. And I think y'all know that. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Y'all know what it is. Censorship is one thing, but lying and spreading misinformation, that's something else. And nobody has to put up with that. Nobody. We don't have to deal with that. We just don't. So there it is. Right quick, I want to point out something that somebody that came up as a topic. Pay attention to this guy. Y'all remember him? The guy who stole Nancy Pelosi's podium there? Lectern. Her lectern. It's called a lectern. Notice he shaved his face. Wonder why. Did he think he was going to escape the police by shaving his face and trying to change his look? You think? Think maybe that's what he was trying to do? I don't know. Remember this guy? Mr. This is my house. I can do whatever I want. Y'all remember him. Funny thing about this guy, he also shaved his face before the police came and got him. What is this about? All of these guys with all these gruff beards and, big baller types and doing as they please. And, now all of a sudden, oh, I better shave. Oh my God, I gotta shave. I gotta get away from all of this. Let me tell y'all something. They have facial recognition software out here that they are using, and they are going to catch most of these people. And most of these people are going to go to jail, and they are going to get caught up, and they are arresting people by the dozens. In fact, I expect it to go into the hundreds before long. But here's the thing about what we're witnessing, though. These are men. These are white men in America who are under the impression that they can do whatever they want. Yes, they do. They think that they have free reign to do whatever they choose to do in this country because of who they are. Now, before I get to where I'm going to go with this, Forbes magazine also, on top of all the other social media platforms and the banks and all of that, made a statement today that anyone who hires Sean Spicer, Kayleigh McEnany, or Kelly Ann Conway, or Donald Trump to their platform after they are out of office, the Forbes magazine has stated that they will automatically assume and editorialize that anything they say or do or have as a product is a liar. Forbes has a lot of power. Donald Trump could never hold a candle to the Forbes, no relation to the Forbes companies. And they have openly stated clearly and unequivocally that if any of these three are hired to any company, they will be called out as liars immediately, which I think was a great idea. Now, as they say, or as the illustrious late great Malcolm X once said, the chickens, well, they coming home to roost. And I like it when the chickens come home to roost. That's what he said. But what I'm going to talk about now is what somebody else said. And that's a problem. Joe Biden has repeatedly made a statement. And that is that what we witnessed last week is not America. It is not what America is. Well, I'm sorry, Joe. I beg to differ. This is exactly what America is. I'm a black man in America. I have no delusion or illusion about my lack of inclusion in this confusion. Now, let's look at this. This is a map of massacres that took place from the mid-1800s forward. Now, this is just the one from the mid-1800s forward. We ain't gonna even talk about the ones with the with the indigenous human beings of this continent. We just gonna talk about the black massacres. Y'all, look at this. Pick any one of these and check it out. Black lives lost. At the hands of who? Angry white men. Angry white men who wanted to be in power or who felt that they have dominion over everything and everybody. Okay? This is where we are today. Except now, it ain't us they targeting. People don't understand that this is exactly how the Civil War began. Because of these very same things. This very same attitude and ideology that we're witnessing right now from this band of lunatics is exactly how the Civil War began. It's exactly how they lost it too. It was too stupid to know how to do that thing the right way. Now, historically speaking, I mean, let's be honest. The self-entitled white male who wants what they want, regardless of what it takes to get it, are what we're dealing with. Now, somebody, I'm here for the smoke. I challenge anybody to tell me that that's not true. I challenge anybody to show me that this is not what has taken place historically in America. I'll wait. I know it can't happen though. See, Let's talk about the fact that this continuation of violence is exactly what this country was founded on. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. They don't want to admit to it. But now more than ever, the phrase "Make America Great Again," it only takes us back to a time when white people, white men, were allowed to do as they please to anything and anyone, especially if they weren't white. And without question. You weren't supposed to question them. Okay? Massacres have been a part of this the very foundation and fabric of America since its inception. Violent takeover has been a part of the fabric of America since its inception. Let's think about this. This is stolen land. Then they went and stole some people to work the land. Think about that. All done with violence. Every part of it, every bit of it has been violent. The entire foundation of this country. I don't know how many of y'all can see it back there over my shoulder. There's a picture back there called Choices. And if you can't see it good, Google it. Choices by Brian Forbes. It's a Bible laying flat. There's a stack of money on top with a gun laying up there. I created that piece several years ago. And when I created it, I had certain things in mind. But the funny thing is, I didn't realize how prophetic that piece of art has turned out to be. Because everything on that picture is exactly what everything that this country was founded on. Religion, money, and violence. Period. 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 Full stop. That's what America was founded on. It's the only thing that keeps America alive. Without any one of those three things, America collapses tomorrow. Don't expect any of this to change, because it's not. As we speak right now, lawmakers of this country are receiving death threats. Literally. They are receiving death threats. They're being told they're going to be killed. And for what? Because they're telling the truth. All because they are no longer lying to people the way y'all know what it is. No more lies. Now that the lies are being called out, everybody's upset. But I say too little, too late. All these companies that want to jump on Donald Trump now, all these Republicans that want to turn face now, what took you so long? Why you wait until the train is pulling into the station to decide that now's the time to voice your opinion, when all of this could have been controlled and stopped a long time ago? I'm sorry. This is all based on a pack of lies. Held up, bolstered, pushed, prodded, supported, and fed by Republicans and sycophants. People who were so hungry for power themselves that they have literally let the genie out of the bottle and he ain't getting back in. Whole lot of these folks' careers are over. We're only 11 days into 2021. Trust and believe there's going to be a lot more that comes out of this that we haven't seen yet. There's going to be a lot more heads rolling. There's going to be a lot more people, literally, that are going to go to the penitentiary. And there's going to be a lot more people with a whole lot more problems here coming up. We got 8 more days, 15 more hours, 9 more minutes, or 8 more minutes and 58 seconds right now left before it's time for this change. Although you've got that group, they're running around out here right now threatening violence if Donald Trump is removed from office prior to 12 o'clock on January 20th. Well, I'm sorry. The thing about that is this. Are we negotiating with terrorists now? Is that what we're doing in America? I remember when we didn't negotiate with terrorists. I remember when terrorists got dealt with. It's time to deal with them. These people love believing the lies. All of the lies and the BS that have been put out here, they thrive off of it. Because the truth, y'all know what they say about the truth. Truth hurts. The truth is painful. Y'all know all them white folks that's running around out there that realize that they have completely wasted that white privilege. So they want to use it against you. And anybody else who disagrees with them, whether they're telling the truth or not, it doesn't matter. They're power hungry. They just want to have power over those who would challenge them just because. This is what we call white grievance politics. Everything is a grievance. Think about it. The whole time Trump was in office, everything he ever did was complain about something. And he always found a way to divide people. He always found, well, it's us against them. It's this against that. It's either this way or that way. Always a grievance. Always raising hell and causing a stink and causing a big ass uproar and a ruckus. And the minute somebody says something or puts him against the ropes, he's a victim. That's over. That's over. You're going to be a private citizen in 8 more days, 15 more hours, 6 more minutes, and 36 seconds. And boy, the charges that's coming to you and your kids and Rudy Giuliani and all of the sycophants and others that helped you and held you up. Oh, it's coming. And the reason why he is going to continue to encourage this violence is because he knows that it's coming. And the only thing that's going to save him from it is if he becomes the king. He got to be the king. I'm the king around here. Yep. That's the only way. That's the only way. The sad part is that these people believe that somehow this represents their freedom. This represents them having the freedom of America and doing what they want. But the question becomes, whose freedom? Because if America becomes great again, in the words and eyes of a Donald Trump and his supporters, let me explain something to you, black people. You thought you were a second-class citizen and made jokes and talked about what you don't have and what you can't get. Baby, listen. I've said this before on this show. It can happen. Governments change around the world. For some reason, we have got it in our head that in this country, things can't change. It can change. We have already witnessed the perfect storm that got us here. If you think that the storm is over just by default and it can't happen to the degree that we damn near end up back in chains, I got news for y'all. Now I want you to process this right here. Think about this real hard. This is the most powerful country in the world. Militarily. Economically. If the wrong people were to take the reins of this country by force, do you not understand that they could do whatever the hell they want to do to us, with us, and nobody else can stop them? Who's going to stop them? Who is going to stop them? Nobody. I need y'all to think about what I'm saying right now. Now, I said that to say this. There's a young lady by the name of Tamika Mallory. She put out a tweet the other day. I want you to look at this. She said, I suggest that black folks stand back and stand by while these white folks throw a tantrum in D.C. America needs to face its real problem. Don't go out there. This is not our fight. Ladies and gentlemen, let me try as hard as I can to express to you just how inaccurate that is. We are living very much in a time where our inaction could cost us very dearly. Now, I'm looking for, I hate it when this happens. We don't have the luxury of not doing anything. And I know that a lot of black folks believe that. They believe, oh, yeah, no, we ain't, it ain't our fight. We ain't got to get in this. It ain't got nothing to do with us. Well, I'm going to read something to you. One of our Black Factor family, Mr. Dana Brock, responded to a post with this tweet in it. And this was his response. And Dana, I want to tell you right off the top, I thank you for this response because it said everything that needed to be said. He said, wait a minute. You mean that fight that's over whether we, black folks, can or should be able to vote? Whether we are recognized as citizens and the slaves' descendants status? The elimination of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments? The originalist Constitution interpretation? And the current law of the land? The double standards? The Dred Scott SCOTUS ruling? The black man has no rights a white man has to honor. So we just going to sit back and stand by and just let them fight over our status and let them sort it out. Oh, look, massa, a new beefing again. What the heck? Not our fight. Just be watching the outcome on CNN and Fox in between what's on Netflix or, what time that power come on. Because we sure is going to need some. P.S. It's all about our vote. I must digress. I ain't leaving this country, and I'm not standing down or sitting this one out. I'm standing up, and I'm fighting in every way I can, getting in those currently elected ass to do their job. Organize the neighborhood. We can't stand by and wait. While they burning down our neighborhood, our neighbors' houses, yours next. It's time to insist that international community addresses the current conditions, just like we did with South Africa's apartheid regime in the late 80s. And it is past time for the religions and churches of America and the world to stand up and speak up. There's work to be done. If you are we the people, let's get busy while we still can. There has been no better time in my lifetime to definitively impact and affect constructive and lasting change. The enemy is weak, and while they try to repair their internal issues, we have many internal issues to address and correct. Let's get our agenda fully on the table. We got a seat at the table with the election, so now it's time to address the table setting and the menu, Ubuntu. Now, like I always say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. We don't have the luxury of sitting around and waiting while they hash out our future. Because trust me, it ain't going to go. It ain't going to go the way they think it's going to go, and it ain't going to go the way we think it's going to go. We have to be very, very careful about how we handle all of this moving forward. This is domestic terrorism, y'all. Be clear about that. On the one hand, I feel like what's happening right now, it serves a particular group of people in this country right. On the other hand, it doesn't do us any good to be in our feelings thinking, oh, yeah, that's what y'all get. It ain't no that's what y'all get. That's what we get. These people should have been held to a higher standard. We failed in holding them to a higher standard, and they allowed a crazy person to slip through the cracks. And now he has rallied millions of people behind him to the point of them attempting to make America great again. See, y'all need to understand what that even means. And it has nothing to do with people of color. This is the black factor. This is the black factor. Y'all better get with the program. Now, I'm saying all of that to say this. This could easily mean, whether y'all want to hear this or not, and once again, I hope I'm wrong, this could easily mean that you may end up fighting in the street for your own freedom, for your own sanity, for your children's future. They have already stated they intend to hold armed protests at every single Capitol building in the country at one time. And let me tell you something. They say Blue Lives Matter, but I guarantee you this. Let the police stand in front of them and see how that go. If they don't like what's going on, they're going to try it. They're going to take it all the way down through there. Do you know how many crazy people is in this country? Do you know how many uneducated, crazy people have heavy artillery that are ready to use it just because they stupid and they have nothing to lose? Nothing. And they think what they're fighting for, they think the lies that they're fighting for are worth it, are worth dying over. They believe that the lies that they've been fed by a known liar are worth dying over. I need y'all to think about that. This is Republicans' fault. They coddled this mess. They have already issued death threats to Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. Right now, today, they have issued death threats. They are talking straight up assassination. Oh, yeah. This is where they're headed. Again, are we negotiating with terrorists? Are we saying that them threatening that if Donald Trump is taken out of office before the 20th, they're going to do all of this, that, and the other? Do they think that the people in Congress or the Senate are afraid? I don't think they are. And I also don't think that the rest of America is afraid. And I also think that if they try it, it's just not going to go the way they think it is. However, there will be casualties. A lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to be very hurt. All over lies. All because a loser could not decide or could not accept the fact that he's a loser. Because his mental illness has led him to drive the lies that are going to continue to affect everything about what we do and how we move in this country. These people are ready to die over those lies. And you can't even prove to them that they've been lied to. It's easier to lie to somebody than it is to prove to them that they've been lied to. And this is what we're dealing with. And we ain't going to even talk about, I ain't going to even show y'all the picture of all of the ones running around with no teeth in their mouth. Oh boy, that's something to see. But isn't it amazing how these same people always manage to denounce violence? Oh, violence is not the way. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. They never want violence until it's them being violent. Ain't that something? That's how that is. Everything is fine until it's you. See, this is what we're dealing with. They're doing everything they can to destroy the democratic process. Why? Because Donald Trump said so. See, this is what you get when you raise followers. When you raise people who can't think, who don't have common sense, who operate in cognitive dissonance. They don't have the ability to process this information and put two and two together, but they're good at doing what they're told. As long as you have an order for them to follow and they believe that you're smarter than them, they'll do it. That's called followers. We all know some of those. Yes, we do. Don What says law and order. Yeah, that's what Donald Trump called himself, the law and order president. Until it's his turn. Now, all of a sudden, these people did nothing wrong. Kind of reminds me of the Charlottesville, North Carolina. We have good people on both sides. Even though these people are saying that Jews will not replace them, and they obviously are white nationalists who intend to take back America, because that's what Trump keeps saying. We got to take back America. Take it back from where? Where did it go? Imagine that. Funny thing is, black folks we always be talking at, oh, race war. It's going to be a race war. It ain't going to be no race war. It's about to be a civil war. And it ain't going to be cute. And if you think it's not going to affect you, I got news for you. You better be ready to get up off your ass and do some things you ain't never had to do before, because that's where we're headed. If we're not real careful, that's where we're headed. But this is from not participating in the process too. Because let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you the most crazy part. None of this just started 4 years ago. Well, if black folks had voted in the 2016 election for a person who was sane, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be on the brink of our entire nation being destroyed and democracy being tested to its very core. We wouldn't be here right now. Not right here. All this because I don't like Hillary Clinton. There's something wrong with her. I ain't voting. And look where we are now. All that because people was in their feelings. Oh, I don't Hillary Clinton. Why it's white people. Why we voting? And we don't need to vote. It don't mean nothing. It ain't gonna help us. But it's sure about to hurt you if you ain't real. If things don't go the way we all hope that it will, it's about to hurt real bad. All because you had this. None of it matters. It don't matter. It ain't gonna to me. None of this matters. It don't matter. It's about to matter. It's about to matter in ways you can't even imagine. Y'all need to remember that this has never happened as long as this country's been around. This is a first. We're seeing things we've never seen before. Trust and believe you're going to see some more stuff you ain't never seen before. It's coming. It's coming. Most of y'all, not my Black Factor family, of course, because y'all pay attention to my show, and I tell you how to get ready for these things. But most of y'all ain't ready. Yeah. You should have got a taste of what's going on when you couldn't go to the grocery store and get nothing. Not only because of COVID, but because there wasn't no toilet paper on the shelves and a bunch of more stuff. Remember that? That was just a preview. Remember Katrina? Disaster happened? That was just a preview. Trust and believe. This country is long overdue for destruction. And if you ever pay any attention to Minister Farrakhan, he's been saying it. I promise you, he is sitting at home right now, watching all of this play out like a prophecy, because he said we were going to end up here. I've said on this show multiple times we were going to end up right here. I hope we don't go any further. I hope that this is the end of the road for the nonsense. I really do. But we don't know. But one thing's for sure, we don't have the luxury of sitting around waiting to see how this thing plays out. You better be ready. What we're watching right now, these guys that are running up here and doing all of this, they are no different than ISIL, and no different than Al-Qaeda. Y'all are witnessing what exactly took place in the Middle East. Right here in America, things are beginning to turn. We are now being faced with insurgents from our own homeland, not from a foreign power, not from somebody else, from somewhere else. The very militia and people who believe in the Second Amendment that claim that they have the right to maintain a well-regulated militia and the right to bear arms are the very people that's going against that part of the Constitution to take it over. See, because the rest of us who say, oh, we don't need that part, we cool on that. We don't have a militia. Well, we do, but they got more. Not that we gonna lay down for them, or we gonna, we're not gonna be able to defend ourselves. That's not it. But the point is, they take that part of the Constitution seriously, although they're about to use that very part of the Constitution to destroy the Constitution. Imagine that. Okay, y'all feel me? So they about to do some damage, baby. It's crazy. Tania Foster said, the new term is vanilla ISIS. Oh my God. Okay. But these guys, they're no different. They're no different than the terrorists who we literally sent troops to the Middle East to fight. Now, somebody else made a good point earlier in this feed. The fact that we're going to be having so much fighting going on right here in our own country, on our homeland, with each other. Do you realize how vulnerable that makes us? How our back door is about to be open for anybody else to walk through it and decide that they're ready to tear it down. What you gonna do then? What we gonna do? We got to fight that fight. That's what's happening. That's what's next. What we gonna do? We're gonna fight it? Or we gonna sit back and watch and wait and see which side of the fence we end up on as black folks, and whether or not we're gonna be back in slaves and chains, or whether or not we're gonna fight for our freedom? Because I promise you, if the powers that be, the wrong powers, win this thing or get their way, they're not walking around with Confederate flags and white supremacy tattoos and T-shirts and all of this for nothing. They believe this stuff. They got plans for people like us if we're not real careful. Now, pay attention to this. Ever since all of this stuff started, and this whole thing started jumping off, right? Has anybody noticed that the federal government has been damn near non-existent? We haven't heard any kind of press conferences from anybody in the military. We haven't heard any kind of conversations from anybody from the FBI, from the CIA, from the DEA, from the anybody. Homeland Security, no statements. Nobody said a word while all of this is taking place. And then we find out that multiple police officers were involved in assisting these infiltrators to come into the Capitol. Come on now. You got military that are sympathizers with Donald Trump and his cohorts. Y'all need to think about what I'm saying. This thing could get real, real ugly. Real, real fast. See? This is what you refer to as radicalization. This is the radicalization of America. So now we have these far-right extremists who are so far out there that they're willing to die for the lies that they believe. That's ooh-wee. That's cult. That's cult like. That's cult stuff. That's Jimmy Jones. That's drink the Kool-Aid right there. That's what we own right now. This is drink the Kool-Aid season. They ready. They ready to drink the Kool-Aid. They don't care if they die. They're ready. Y'all better be ready yourselves. If you're not willing to fight for truth, but they willing to fight for a lie, there's something wrong with this picture. Yes, Tania Foster, absolutely. Yes, he did. She said, didn't the acting director of Homeland Security just quit? Yes, he did. Just this afternoon, about 4 o'clock. Well, 3 or 4 o'clock, that's when we found out about it. It's a damn shame. And all these black folks that don't get it, and especially the ones who are on the Trump team, all you black Trumpers, they got a special place for y'all. Just hold tight. The manhunts is underway. They gonna get you. They coming to get you. They coming to see you, baby. In fact, all of the heads of all of this stuff, they coming. They're on their way. You just hold tight. They're gonna be at your door probably first thing in the morning, because that facial recognition software is working well. They are getting the names. Matter of fact, I'll tell you a funny thing. One of these guys' ex-wife turned him in. She called the feds and was like, oh yeah, that's him. Go get him. And they arrested him. He's also in a lot of trouble now. Well, when this thing jumps off, and I hope I'm wrong, all I can say to y'all is be prepared. This goes back to the shows that we've done in the past where I talk about preparation for unrest and chaos, civil unrest. So let me say this. Make sure you have plenty of water. Make sure you have plenty of toiletries. Make sure you have enough food to last you at the minimum 7 days, maybe a little longer. I'm saying this to you because we don't know what direction this is going to go in. Keep in mind that if you live in a neighborhood like myself and others that I'm aware of across the country, someone in your neighborhood, if not multiple people, are Trump supporters who fly the Trump flag. They ride around in their big old pickups with the Trump flag flying. These are diehard Trumpians, and they are radicalized. You don't know if they're going to come out of a bag on you or anybody else for that matter. My point here, make sure you're prepared. Stock up, stock your shelves. Make sure you have food for 7 days minimum. Make sure you have water. Make sure all of your people are in place and prepared. If you are legally armed, make sure those are oiled and ready, because we don't know what's going to happen. We've not seen any of this ever in our lifetimes or in the history of these United States. We are being attacked from the inside. Be sure that you are ready when that happens, because the likelihood and possibility of something like this becoming a much larger issue than it already is, and I think a lot of people are downplaying the hell out of it, to be honest with you, but the fact of the matter is, we don't know what direction this is going to go in. I don't care who you are, what your politics are. Be prepared to protect yourself, watch your back, protect your families, and cover up. Don't forget, COVID is still real, all right? I got people on their deathbed right now that I love very dearly. This is not a joke. We are fighting an enemy that is an airborne disease, and we're fighting an enemy that is a walking disease, one that intends and will be more than happy to kill you on sight if you are against what they believe, which unfortunately most of our lies. That's the terrible part about it. That's the part that I think it would be different if we were fighting over an ideology of something that you could say, well, I understand why they feel that way. But they are basing this solely on, I mean, damn it, the election was not rigged. Stop with that nonsense. So you know what that is? That's an excuse. That's all that is. They know damn well the election wasn't rigged. The election wasn't rigged. They know damn well it wasn't rigged. That's their excuse for venting. Angry white men venting. Because that's all that's out there with them. That's all you're going to see with them guns. Let somebody black show up with some guns and watch what happens. We already know how that's going to go. Because you know how they don't like black folks with guns in this country. All of a sudden, they're all the most violent. We supposed to be the most violent, most anything you can think of is negative. That's the way we've been portrayed in this country for centuries. Yet, it's angry white men who go and attack the same blue lives that they claim matter, and attack the government, or attempt to attack the government, or attempt to attack our lawmakers and anything else over lies. But we're the most violent, right? Yeah, okay. I think it's very clear who the most violent people in this country are. I think it's clear who the most violent people in this country have been. Ask the indigenous Americans. I don't even want to call them Americans, the indigenous humans of this land who were here long before anybody ever showed up here with a Plymouth Rock or any damn thing else. They were massacred, genocide, violence, stolen land, and then go across the seas, steal some people, bring them here, and keep them violently in place for centuries. And then, once they were supposed to be free, that pseudo freedom violently kept them as second-class citizens all the way up damn near till today. But we're the most violent ones, remember? We're the ones that catch all the convictions. We're the ones that are made examples of in the media and put in prison at rates that are ridiculous because our communities are over-policed, while nothing is any different going on in our communities than anybody else's. But because they decide to stick more police in our area because they want to run the numbers up for the prison industrial complex so they can keep those beds full because they can trade the prisons on the open stock market. See, black skin is a commodity. It always has been in America. First, it was used as a trade. It was used as a product. It was sold. It was bought. Black skin. And went from there to being part of the prison industrial complex started directly after slavery. Black skin has been used to get paid in this country from its inception. There's so much more I could say about that, but that ain't what we're talking about today. Today, we're talking about making sure that we don't lose what little bit of democracy that we do have left. All of this comfort that we have, all the stuff that we take for granted, all of it is on the line. And our inaction could very well make it go away far more quickly than I think we realize. If our votes didn't count, none of this, not one bit of this would be going on. America is and always was a very violent place. Joe Biden is wrong. I like Joe for some things. I don't like him for others. But the fact is, this is, was, and always will be, as long as it's called America, a very, very violent place. Before I go, I want to bring one other thing to you all's attention that I had come across that I found interesting. Someone sent me this earlier today. If I can pull it up. This little interesting tidbit right here. Got this copy of this letter. Come on. Right here. And I'm going to read it to you. This letter says, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got to get it together here, y'all. Give me a second. Let's see here. All right. Let me. All right, this ain't working out. All right, anyway, to make a long story short, let me just say this. This particular letter is in the state of New York, the legislature in New York. They have basically called for the removal of one of their legislators because of his participation in recent events, which I think more legislative bodies should be looking toward at this point in the game. I would love to see Josh Hawley, who is already under fire, and Ted Cruz receive similar letters. They deserve to be shut down. I'm personally tired of the nonsense. I want to see these people get what they got coming. Reading the letter. This is January 10th of 2021. On January 6th of 2021, the United States Capitol was invaded by a mob of insurrectionists, provoked into violent action by President Donald Trump and his enablers, including members of Congress, his personal attorney, and members of the Trump family. It was the culmination of weeks of false claims and dangerous rhetoric intended to sow distrust in the integrity of our election and keep Donald Trump in office despite his clear electoral loss. Even after experiencing the attack on the Capitol building, Congressman Chris Jacobs abandoned his oath of office and constitutional duty when he voted against certifying the results of a free and fair election. As a lawyer, Chris Jacobs knew that Donald Trump's baseless claims of voter fraud had been fully vetted and summarily dismissed by every single judge and court to consider them. Despite knowing the claims of voter fraud were false and had just inspired a mob of angry Trump supporters to violently attack the Capitol and those inside it, Chris Jacobs cast his vote against our democracy and in favor of perpetuating a dangerous lie. This is no time to mince words. The actions of Congressman Chris Jacobs were in abdication of his duty to his constituents and a violation of his oath of office. Accordingly, we, the undersigned members of the Western New York delegation of the New York State Legislature, call on Congressman Chris Jacobs to resign his seat in Congress. If he will not do so voluntarily, it is our hope that he is expelled from Congress consistent with the rules of that body. Sincerely. And it is signed by the members of the state legislature in New York. I want to see more of this across the country for those who would vote against our democracy. It is up to each and every one of you and us and our voting ability to get rid of these people and make sure that their feet are held to the fire and that because they're trying to destroy our way of life. I'm personally tired of all of it. I've been sick of the lies for 4.5 years. And it's time for change. And if that doesn't happen peacefully and quietly, then I, like many of my of those who will go against me, am prepared to do whatever it is that I have to do to maintain my life and my lifestyle and protection of my family. So just know, for those insurgents out there who will go against their own fellow Americans, just know that it's not going to go the way that you think it is, and it's not going to be nearly as easy as you think it will. If you think you're the only ones that can show up at the Capitals with guns, I have news for you. There are more Americans who are against you than there are for you. So you do whatever you think you need to do. But if I were you, I would chill out. The other thing is this. Y'all need to understand following this, there are going to be a lot of lone wolf attacks. There are going to be a lot of lone wolf wackos that are going to shoot up things and do things. Be on your best square. Stand on it. Make sure you're watching your back. Watch your family. These people are not going to just disappear in the woodwork if tomorrow this thing goes away. They're not going to just fall away like that. They will be setting themselves up for future nonsense. This is where we are in America. We now have terrorist organizations. Well, we always had terrorist organizations. We had the white supremacist groups. We have the KKK. We have different organizations, including the guy who got arrested. That's the founder or leader of the Proud Boys, who is, by the way, married to a black woman. But this is where we are. We have terrorist organizations right here in America, and they are now fired up. They have been emboldened, and they're ready to go to work at the behest of Donald Trump. This is where we are. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian Forbes. Don't forget to get your copy of The Black Factor at bmforbes.com. Check out the t-shirts at quotedlife.com. And take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Cover up, y'all. It's been my time. It's tiring. It's frustrating. And sometimes it's a lot, but it's necessary. But it's all right, because we're going to get through this like we get through everything. Either that, or it's going to be hell to pay somewhere, some way. I want everybody to have yourselves a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me and hanging out with me on this Monday. Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. We up out of here.